Mattapan, a small neighborhood that sits right off southern Boston. The neighborhood, established in 1630, goes back to its native roots, with Mattapan meaning a good place to sit, originating from the settlers who once claimed Mattapan as their home.
Fast forward to 2024, there's been a lot that's changed in the community for the better. Open opportunities, resources for young people, and places for those young people to feel safe and work hard in their communities.
One of those places being the Kraft Mattapan Teen Center, but most famously known as MTC, the only teen center in Boys and Girls Clubs of Boston's organization.
With all that said about MTC, a lot of people don't really understand or know the true roots of the Mattapan Teen Center before it became.
For that, we have to go all the way back in time to another generation.
A lot of the special memories come from, the youth and the teens that came here back then. I remember times I would come to work, I couldn't wait for them to get out of school, just to hear about their day, and, I just built a lot of relationships with different kids and adults as well. But the kids were more energetic, I have memories of our friends group getting off the ground, memories of talent shows that I put together, a book group that I had together for the adults, a lot of good things, when we started getting computers in, and how this room used to be the teen room and things of that nature, a lot of good memories about like the community, a lot of family-oriented communion, because even though it was a library, this definitely is a family neighborhood. So it was more of families coming together, and when their parents were at work, the kids were here sometimes, when they didn't have to go home, or when the library closed and stuff like that, to get their homework done, or just to let loose for a little bit in a quiet way sometimes.
I remember it being small. It didn't look like it does now. It looked like a library in the 80s or early 90s. But I grew up on River Street in Mattapan, but I have friends that live on Walk Hill, which is a street right behind us, and Fowler Road, which is a street on the side of us. So what I would do every day, I would hang out with my friends, but my parents were very strict. It was get your homework done before you can go outside. I grew up in that era. So a lot of times we would come here to the library to get our homework done, or to get a book that we needed for a project, or just to improve our reading skills.
The common grounds was we come here to do homework, you know what I mean? Or you come here, you might read your books, or you might not, but it was a way to it was like that bridge in between school to home. And for most of us, our parents were working. Not even just some of us, for a lot of us, our parents were working. So there wasn't anybody at home to help us with our homework. We would come here and help each other. Sometimes we would do it, sometimes we wouldn't. Sometimes we would do it in school before we came here so that we could come here and just hang out. A few of us used to have conversations like, do you understand this? Did you do this? Is your school working on this? And people would ask for help. And even if we didn't do it on group level, it was a place where, we built individual relationships as well. And I'm glad for this place because it fostered that,
People would never have known this place was here. I think if you didn't live in the area, it's just that hidden gem, that hidden spot that people just was not aware of. They just thought it was just a building and had no clue what the place was and what it offered. It was the cornerstone of where you could, again, build relationships. That's where the community met together on anything that happened in the community. This was just that cornerstone place where everyone can come to, any walks of life at that time can just come in, and it offered so many things, between someone needing assistance with just teachings, but also having support systems. I think it definitely offered that for people who just didn't have places to go, didn't have the best homes, the best people just in their lives and just for themselves.
I remember times when I would answer the phone, a lot of folks didn't know where we were because of being on this residential street. And I think that by this branch being here, it helped a lot of youth, a lot of adults further their education, their careers and things like that. Yeah, it's very family oriented here. Yeah, this room used to be the teen room. And we had I think we had 4 computers in here when we first started getting computers. But this is the room where a lot of the talent was shown here. We had a lot of different talent shows, readings. The kids would come here and do their homework. This was a very busy room, a very important room, and I love the fact that we used to use this background here as a stage, and now there is a stage here. I love that. The architecture here, a lot of the old architecture is still in this building, how they've enhanced it and made it just a palace, more of a palace. I think it's beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
I was very upset when it closed down because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew it closed down. And from then I didn't know what was going on. And for me, it was like a piece of the neighborhood leaving where I hoped that my children would get a chance to come hang out and kind of build the same thing that I did. At least the library still exists not too far from here. It's less than a block away. And it's bigger than this place. So it has more resources to children. And still the same things going over there as far as help with the homework. I can't say it's as fun as this library, but it's not. This library was the place to be as a kid.
They said it was closing down. They said, "Oh no, we're moving across the street there," But it was just we getting we felt that this space, they needed a bigger space. They really did, because they did a lot with the space that were in here, as you can see. You guys are teens, you run a teen program. I work with teens. Just imagine this. It was a library, had all these books. They had, they had the teen room. They had the younger, for the younger kids. They didn't really at that time have anything for the seniors other than using the library, using the computers, which, was unique, and it still is. But it caters to everybody, and it's still underutilized, to be honest with you. Still underutilized.
That this building is still standing, better than it ever has. But we still have a Mattapan library too, and the Teen Center got its start from the library closing, the old library. And both locations have wonderful people in them. They offer two different things, host of things, but both represent Mattapan, both represent community. And I love everything about both locations, the Mattapan Library at its new location and the Josh Kraft Mattapan Teen Center.
And you see what's happening here as you walk around and seeing the young people who are going to be able to come in here and have a positive influence in their life, who are going to be able to make decisions that other teens in the city and the country won't have the chance to, because they don't have a place like this.
For over 80 years, this place served as a beacon of hope and opportunity for so many people that came through the doors. And all of us at Boys and Girls Clubs of Boston are honored to be able to reopen it, to continue to let it serve the community for more than another 80 years, for perpetuity.
Okay, so my name is Ryan. I've been a part of BGCB, or specifically MTC, for 3 years now. I started in 2021. I'm a peer leader and have been since 2021. I'm currently this year's Youth of the Year. And in Keystone, I am the secretary, and I have been for 2 years now. So both of my parents work for Boston Public Schools, and in 2021, I remember my mom receiving an email kind of just saying, oh, we want peer leaders for this role. And so my mom reached back, or she gave me Rick's email. I reached out to him, and in the same hour, he responded back to me, and we scheduled this interview. Came in, interviewed and was hired on the spot.
It's a bit of a funny story. So at the Teen Center, we have this thing called the annual block party. And that's basically where we shut down the whole street and just invite everyone. And it just becomes a big turnout, and it's good food. They have the market open, and it's just, I don't know, the energy there and the sense of community is just great. So my aunt's friend, who was covering the news story for her at the time, ended up telling her about it. So I was not doing the best at the time. And my mom saw it, and then she said, why don't I try looking at the place? I went there. At first, I did not want to go here. But once I gave it a try and like actually finished that tour, like immediately, I remember me and my sister came back the next day. And it's like we weren't expected back till the Monday after. But we could already tell that the Teen Center was a place for us. So that we've been coming ever since. And 5 years later, here we are, now senior graduating.
When I first got a tour here, it was right after the pandemic, and man, it hit me hard. It hit me hard. Like, I gotta say, like, I think that was some of my darkest times, especially because it was my freshman year in high school. You know, you're expecting all of these, like, great big things in your freshman year, and boom, like, we're inside for all of it. And so my mom could obviously tell that I was going through this rut, and I was going through so much with this pandemic, and she was like, I just want you to just check it out. Just see if you like it, you know, just for something for you to do after school. And I got to go, and just that day was just so eye-opening for me. I literally remember, like, I was already in a music program, like, near my house, and I was like, Mom, can we quit it? I want to come here instead, because I just remember coming here and, like, to know that, like, this was a place that I felt like I belonged. And then, boom, been here ever since. Yeah.
I think it's a crazy parallel. You know, the Mattapan Library, from what I've heard, was just a safe space for teens and kids to be kids. That's exactly what MTC is. It's kids finding their voice, finding their truths, and just eye-opening experiences and opportunities time and time again. And there's people that'll show up at the door just like ready, wanting to come in. Hey, is this still the library? Is this still this? It goes to show that the library really captivated a special place in people's hearts. That's exactly what MTC is doing right now for the teens that are attending. The older generation that was attending the Mattapan Library, the library did the same thing for them.
Now that the old library is the Teen Center, I feel like now it becoming a Boys and Girls Club was the ideal move because of how many kids. Like, I believe this is the only one in this area, the only Boys and Girls Club in Mattapan. So that kind of leaves me just like, what about the people that don't come? Or like the people that are just too far away? Because what this center does, if people are willing to stay long enough to find out, is it helps you figure out more about yourself. And I feel like that's the biggest difference between this and a lot of other programs I've tried that just didn't really work for me. All is worth it in the end because they invest in you.
And like, you just get to learn so much. You get to meet so many people. Oh my goodness, like for the teens here, we get so many opportunities to like just learn so many new things. I've met so many creatives, so many visionaries. It doesn't even have to be that. I've met so many chefs, so many just community people. And it's like, yeah, I feel like the Mattapan Teen Center for teens really lets you expand like your brain and your mind to so many opportunities. Like, I never thought I could go to Dallas, Texas. I never thought I'd be going to Texas. I'm going to Atlanta this year, and that's all because of the Mattapan Teen Center. I never knew about a Keystone, or I never even knew that I could do so many things with myself, really.
The summer of 2023, we attended our first Keystone Conference, the National Keystone Conference, and that was in Texas. And that trip stood out to me for many reasons. For some people, it was their first time ever getting on a plane. So, that's new heights reached. For other people, it was their first time traveling without their parents. That was how it was for me. And I think it really solidified the meaning of found family for me. We all supported each other in many ways and made sure that we all felt taken care of. And I don't know a group of people that I would have trusted to take that trip with.
That was like, I can't even think of a word for it aside from eye-opening, like hearing so many people from so many different parts of the world all coming together, sharing their stories and what they do in their neighborhoods to give back, some things that I've never even thought of, some things I'd never even heard of, but it was just like, it was inspiring because just being there in their presence just showed that I can do more for my community, and I just gotta be able to put that work in.
Yeah, my experience at the Mattapan Library has changed my life, to the positive, of course. And there's been challenges, of course. No job is 100% wonderful all the time. But even through the hurdles, things even out. And, being a part of this community, feeling like I'm a part of this community means a lot to me. And, Mattapan Library is a sacred place.
I'm just grateful for my experience. It's sanctuary.
This was the place that I have grown to have the best relationships that I've met my entire life. People who have grown with me since a kid to now. You met Miss Cannon, who's amazing. That was the second mom for everybody in the neighborhood. You met Kiki as well. We are still really close. It's like my extended family. It's like my sister, So we just built a lot of relationships with a lot of people over time. And I, to this day, absolutely cherish them. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And if I can go back and do it again, I absolutely would. And meet the same people, good or bad or in between. It means that now teens have a place to be. Granted, it was a library before, but this is made for them and meant for them. And it can't be taken away from them because I think in the world now and nowadays, there's so many things happening. And sometimes people just want to be young. They want to be teenagers. They want to be kids. They want to explore, but at least they have a safe space to do it. And I think that's the biggest concern that everybody wants. Something can happen anywhere, but now they actually have a safe space to be in and find out who they want to be. I'm 39, I'm still trying to figure that out, but at least I had the library to kind of have the stepping stones in that direction. Yeah, thank you.